Despite the beginning of the year usually being pretty slow for Nintendo Switch, we already have some really cool games kicking off 2021. I'm going to show you 10 new Switch games I think you should be taking a look at, including a really awesome one that was announced at this last Indie World presentation. So keep watching and drop a comment below for your chance to win one of two $10 eShop gift cards. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button for more upcoming games and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any notifications. Let's go! The beginning of the new year kicked us off with Iris.Fall. This puzzle adventure game takes you on a journey through a mysterious labyrinth with a beautifully eerie art style. Honestly, it kind of gives me Alice in Wonderland vibes. The game goes back and forth between 2D and 3D to keep things interesting and plays with the concept of light and shadow, reserving the more colorful moments to highlight important aspects of the game. This dark and gloomy atmosphere really makes the game stand out. To make it even more creepy, there's no dialogue, and then there are no words in the game anywhere, causing you to rely solely on visual cues to decipher the story and how to complete puzzles, which is really awesome to me. Show don't tell has always been the perfect concept in video gaming for me, especially with video games' unique ability to be interactive compared to something like a movie. I'm not gonna lie, these puzzles with the gloomy atmosphere actually give me some Resident Evil vibes. For a 2 to 3 hour game, this one is short and sweet without the fluff, and it just might be worth your time. For wrestling fans or people who played the games back on the N64, Wrestling Empire has come to Nintendo Switch to kick the year off on a good note. While the official 2K wrestling games have clearly had their issues on the Switch, these throwback graphics allow for smoother gameplay, featuring up to 30 wrestlers on screen at once. Developer M. Dickey is famous for making outlandish wrestling games in the past, and being his first game on Nintendo Switch, this one promises to have more polish while bringing the fun he's known for. I love these graphics and animations, looking like it's a game made 20 years ago by THQ, back when wrestling games were in their prime. Like, look at that crowd looking like it's just made out of cardboard. I love it. Expect cage matches, tag team, 6-man gauntlet, props you can use for weapons, tables you can break, and 350 characters to choose from. And you can customize your character like my friends and I used to spend so much time doing back in the day. If you like the idea of a throwback wrestling game that's actually fun, check out Wrestling Empire. Another release helping us ring in the new year is Five Nights at Freddy's Core Collection. This is a physical collection of the 5 games that started it all: Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 4 and Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. Now, these games are already available separately on the system, but this is a good way to pick them all up on the same cartridge. In the first 2 games, you play a kind of mini-game as an overnight security guard at a creepy Chuck E. Cheese type place called Freddy Fazbear's. At night, the previously family-friendly animatronic characters come to life and come after you, and they look creepy as hell. The other games use the same concept, but with a couple changes here and there. These games basically just rely on jump scares and loud noises to freak you out, and if you've seen my live stream of this game, you'll know it works. One thing I didn't expect going in is that your character is mainly stuck in one spot the whole time, which is part of the horror. It comes down to a tense game of multitasking and managing tasks while making sure you don't let these frightening abominations get you. It makes for some suspenseful entertainment. Now let's talk about Shadow Gangs, because this is another January release that you may not know about. This is a retro game with great art style and music, which takes a lot of influence from the Shinobi games from back in the day. And it contains a lot of pop culture references from Freddie Mercury to Lex Luthor. It's true retro in that you have a certain number of lives and continues, and when they're all gone, you get the game over screen and you start from the beginning. Because of this, you'll need to actually improve your skill and learn how to efficiently progress through the levels and these bosses. This is an element in gaming that's been lost, and honestly, when done right, it's very important to gaming. Too many games these days don't even care if you know how to play it right, and they just let you spam your way through, and it's really just not fun. So if you like that retro gaming style and you had fun playing Shinobi, this might be one to add to your collection. And if you like ninja games, keep watching, because I've got something even better for you coming up here in a few minutes. One of my favorite games on this list is Rhythm Fighter. Just look at it. This is a 2D action kind of beat 'em up game where you have to move to the beat of the music. As you can see, the visuals are really clean and the music is really fun too. It gets me hyped up. It's a very dancey EDM. You have to balance the moves of each enemy coming at you, making sure you dodge and attack with the beat of the music in a way that will sometimes remind you of Crypt of the Necromancer. There are a lot of fighters to choose from, each with their own different skills, which gives this game replayability, along with the fact that each level is procedurally generated. So you never really know what you're gonna get or when you're gonna run into a boss battle. What really excites me though is the ton of loot you can find with various items, weapons, and equipment with different buffs and abilities. This game looks like it's straight out of Cartoon Network, and you should check it out if you like rhythm-based combat and ridiculous humor. Another great game kicking off 2021 is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the Game Complete Edition. That's right, another beautifully animated 2D retro game. This one is a re-release for the 10-year anniversary of the original game and includes the DLC, which means you get Knives Chow, Wallace Wells, an online multiplayer, along with drop-in co-op. You may be more familiar with the movie, but this game follows the graphic novel, and yeah, Scott Pilgrim falls in love with Ramona Flowers, and to win her affection, you must first defeat her 7 evil exes. It's a top-notch beat-em-up with an excellent catchy chiptune soundtrack that plays like an arcade game or something that would be on the Super NES. Expect secrets to discover, items to unlock, and new moves to learn as you level up your character and beat up bad guys in Streets of Rage fashion. This game has some wacky boss fights and multiple characters to choose from who each have their own moves and ending cutscenes. Scott Pilgrim is a really good addition to the Switch library, and if you like this style game, you should definitely add this to your list. If you like JRPGs with exploration and real-time tactics battle mechanics, you need to be looking at Atelier Ryza 2. This is a brand new game in the series taking place 3 years after the last one. It revolves around a gameplay loop of collecting resources, crafting, and fighting off baddies. Ryza is an alchemist, so expect that to be a big focus of the game, with materials to gather at every corner of this colorful world. This sequel takes place after the previous game, but adds more depth to the exploration, thankfully, adding swimming, climbing, and swinging around on a grappling rope. It also has better systems and improved combat that allows you to quickly choose between characters, skills, and items on the fly. Characters from the last game are back, and they follow you with a brand new story on this adventure. While it can help to play the last game, you definitely don't need to play it at all to enjoy this one. In fact, with the updated mechanics and improvements to the game, Atelier Ryza 2 is probably the better one to start with. If you like adventure JRPGs, you definitely need to be checking this one out. And now, one of the most anticipated games for the beginning of 2021, Cyber Shadow, as featured in the December Indie Showcase, which looks like a super quality game. This one's published by Yacht Club Games, the developer behind the Shovel Knight series. So yeah, this is an 8-bit style game from the graphics down to the music, which really will bring some pleasant nostalgia for a lot of people. You can already tell this one's done really well. Much like The Messenger on Nintendo Switch, this cyberpunk vibe game takes inspiration from Ninja Gaiden back on the NES. And it's reminding me of when I used to play Shinobi on the Sega Genesis. Expect 2D platforming with expertly designed levels, plenty of ninjutsu skills and abilities to upgrade, and more than a dozen apocalyptic bosses, from enormous war machines to your synthetic clan rivals. This game doesn't neglect story either, with animated cutscenes between the action. Dash, slice, and leap your way into the new year with the heart-pounding ninja action that is Cyber Shadow. Okay, we got 2 more games you should be checking out, and this next one is called Sword of the Necromancer, a dungeon crawler action RPG with roguelike elements that actually has some slight Zelda vibes. Slight. And yes, I said Necromancer, not Necro Dancer. You don't have to swing your sword to the beat of the music, but hey, whatever gets you in the zone. In fact, the Necromancer aspect of the game is what makes it unique. See, you can actually revive enemies after you defeat them, add them to your arsenal of weapons, and improve them as you fight together. I think that's pretty tight. The loot is randomized, and each weapon you find is different thanks to randomized effects and attributes. When you die, you lose your weapons and monster allies, but you keep half the level you achieved in your run. So that's a good balance of consequence, but not completely getting ruined when you die. There's actually a surprising bit of story with voice acting here too. If you like the sound of an indie dungeon crawler with a twist, check this one out. Our final game on the list today is ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, The Prophecy of the Throne. This is an upcoming tactical adventure game / visual novel, and it's the first ReZero game to be released on a Nintendo console. It's also the first ReZero game to have English voices and a release outside of Japan. The game runs on a turn-based battle system similar to Valkyria Chronicles and Persona 3. The combat and adventure portions are chibi style, while the rest of your time will be spent with the animated versions of the characters in dialogue trees. Through this gameplay, you'll collect items and information and devise plans with your allies, which will help determine the outcome of your missions. The story centers around the main character's ability to go back in time when he dies, while still retaining the memories of previous timelines, which is actually an important gameplay element as well. At the time of making this video, the game's not out yet, so I have no idea if the final product is going to be good or bad, but I know a lot of people have their eyes on this one, so check out a review if there is one. I want to know what you thought of these games, if you think you'll be picking anything up, so drop a comment below and hit that subscribe button for more upcoming games. And if you want to see another one of my other videos, just tap on those boxes on your screen and I'll see you over there. Hit it. Is that stupid?